Hey there everybody, Professor Cloud here with our next episode of Professor Builds a Satisfactory. Got to keep moving in Phase 5. We started rebuilding the iron production, the first iron production facility, and we've now got at least one of the two miners working at peak efficiency. And now it's time to do the exact same to the second miner, but do it up on the second floor. And then we can take all of those iron ingots that are being produced from those two miners and start to leverage them to their fullest. We've already got one set that are producing two sets of iron plates that are going into Dimensional Depot, and then 6 sets of iron rods. All of that's going into storage so that we can then use them for screws, for reinforced plates, for modular frames, and so on and so forth. So we need to go ahead and do all of that together. Rotors are also another big part of this, so that we can get all of that then up on the third floor and actually bring all of those pieces together in a meaningful way, using as much as we possibly can, so that the storage units aren't just consistently full, I think is really the big piece of this. But at some point, we're going to use up everything, or we're gonna fill up everything, and that's perfectly fine as well. So let's go ahead and get back to work. I'm still working out a plan for the aluminum casing facility. I've got something working in my head. I'm just not 100% certain of how I want to pull it together, but we're getting there. We might do that in the next episode. So let's jump back in. Okay, here we are back at the hub, and as I promised I would do, I did go and run and get the 350 or so cooling systems that we need for the milestones. So let's go ahead and turn those in real quick. Alright, so that's now done. The only thing left then is the remote control units. I also have some stuff I need to put into here. There's something else that I needed to put in here. That I'll put into storage. No, guess not. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I think that's it. Alright. So that's done. Let's see how many tickets we have. None. Okay. Let's see where we are with the remote control units. I know we're not finished because it still shows. Alright, so we got 211. By the time we get to the end of this episode, we should be finished with remote control units. The reason I knew that we weren't done is because there's still crystal oscillators sitting here, and I put in just enough crystal oscillators to handle what we needed. Alright, let's get back in here. So here is our iron facility working at peak efficiency. Not necessarily in the prettiest of ways, but it is working. So, and that's really what I wanted. We've got 240 per minute of iron ore coming out into 8 smelters that are then going into 8 constructors at 2 different levels. It's the only way that they can be supported. And every single one of the constructors for iron rods have 2 power shards in them in order to actually handle the amount of iron ingots. Because by default, the iron rod construction is 15 to 15 when we're producing 30 ingots. So, wanted to take advantage of that with all of the shards that I have. Now we need to do the same thing up on the second floor. So, we need to... I've already got the Mark III, at least this should be. Yeah. A Mark III miner that's pointing up to the second floor. We're now going to need to split that into the 8 smelters and do the same thing that we did on the first floor. So, I think the best thing is to just go ahead and get rid of everything that's here. And hopefully do it without scrapping other things. Okay, so there's that. Okay. Now, I may end up wanting... Oh. Oh, that's right. I got rid of all of the... Yeah, I can't do it that way. Alright, there we go. I think that's a better starting point. Alright, let me get rid of some of the stuff that's in my inventory. Put that in here. Okay, I think that's good enough. Alright, so I'll put that away later. We need to start with one splitter. Okay, so this has now got 240. We need to split it into 120. Okay, these are now both 120s. We now need to split them into 60s in order to handle the You know what? I'm going to change this, and the reason why is going to be apparent here in a second. Nope. So what I want to actually do is have it face this way. That way, the first splitter can actually be here in the middle, and I can split them out horizontally as far as possible before needing to split them forward, so that I'm not taking as much space towards the front of the building. I may actually have to move those power ports up. And I haven't even put any over on this side yet. Okay. Where do I keep hearing the big guy? It's like he's standing right below me, but... Oh, he is. So we have a tick penguin thing, a giraffe penguin tick thing. That's just, you know, walking through our iron production facility. Very nice. Alright, let's now put you here. There we go. Okay, so now what I can do is this and this to split into 120. Oops. There we go. Okay. Now we need to split this into 260s. So we put one here as close to it as possible. And one here. Actually, one down further. And then we'll do the same thing over here. I might have put the one in the middle a little bit too far down, but that's okay. I can make it work. Actually, let me line this up. Okay. Okay, now we can place our 8 smelters. You know what? Let me just start down here to make it easy. Oops. I keep overshooting. There we go. Alright, how far? Okay, that's... I need to be... Okay, right, say there. Okay, so that should cover all 4 of these. Okay, so there's 4. 30. 30 and 30, so that's 120 worth. 4 times 3 is 12. All right, now we need to do the same thing along this route, but we can actually put a little bit of a gap where the middle one is, if we want. That being said, I'm going to try and keep everything in line. So... Okay. All right, so we've actually got more space than I thought I was going to have. Which, to some degree, that works for me, because it allows me to actually bring, like, for example, these 2 could be producing iron rods that then immediately flow into screws, so that we can start doing screws right here. That's full, and I think this one's full as well. Yeah, okay, so these are both full of iron plates. So what we need to do now is figure out how this stuff is going to come together. Because right now, the iron plates down on the first floor are only going into dimensional depots. So what are iron plates being used for? As a ingredient. The portable miners, I don't care. Reinforced plates. So that's absolutely something that we need to focus on. Gas masks, gas filters, I don't care. because I can use those from the dimensional depots. The only other one is potentially nitric acid, but I haven't found a use for nitric acid yet. So, the reinforced plates, though, are important. So what we should really focus then on, can we take iron plates, say from these first two, in other words, put two constructors right here side by side for iron plates to feed into, I'll scrap this and make this a larger one, to then be used for reinforced plates. That's, I think, the first thing that we need to focus on. And can we do that twice? So let me real quickly, I need to just do this so that I know what the, let's say this is screws 10 per minute to create 40 per minute. And let's put an assembler down to create reinforced iron plates. It needs 60 per minute in screws and 30 per minute in iron plates. Alright, so what is this going to do for iron plates? This is going to produce 20. So I need to, again, peak efficiency. Why is there a scrap? Okay. Don't know why that was... Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Basically what I'm going to be doing is scrapping everything that happens up top and starting over again. But the other thing is, keep in mind, I still have storage down below. Let me get rid of you. So that is iron rods. That is iron rods. So we still have all of that to use from a production perspective. Like right now, I could take those iron rods that are sitting in there and put them into a constructor that then works on screws, but it's never going to work. I would basically need 6 constructors to produce the number of screws necessary. Let me double check that. Yeah. 10 iron rods for 40 screws. So basically I need 6 constructors to create 240 screws a minute. But then I only need 60 per minute for the reinforced iron plates. So really, if we want to do this right, we're gonna do 2 assemblers. We're gonna produce 120 per minute of screws. Send 60 to one assembler, 60 to another. I think that's where we're gonna start. And then each one of those. Here's my assembler. Yeah, so 60 per minute of screws. Each one of those is going to require 30 per minute of iron plates. This produces 20, so we're going to need to do 3 iron plates. Let's start with that. We need 3 iron plates. 3 iron rods. Now, I want to see if I can do this. I should probably do it up here. There we go. Okay, so these are going to be the iron plates. I have no light. Anybody remember where the lights? There they are. I'm doing this knowing that I may end up getting rid of the... Alright, so that must not be plugged in. There we go. Hey, I have light. Okay, so each one of these are going to be iron plates. Okay, good. Still plenty of space. These then are, we're going to then do 3 more for iron rods. That's unfortunately going to leave 2 smelters not doing anything. Don't get me wrong, I fully expect that they're going to be iron rods into screws. Just like these are going to be. Okay, so... Okay. Iron rods. Oh, we're producing 15 per minute. Why can it not be easy? I think you just have to live with it. The loss of 5 per minute of production when these are getting turned into screws. I think you just have to live with it. Is really all that it can come down to. Alright, I'm going to get rid of you, which I know is going to do that. Because I want to put a larger one. There. Alright, we'll need a merger. Probably here. Like that. Okay. So that's 3 iron ingots, 3 iron plates into a storage facility. This then gives us plenty of room to set up 3 constructors to be producing screws, have them all be collected, and then we can go up top with them. At least I think I've got enough room for this. So, and I could potentially bring the 3 iron rod constructors a little bit closer to the respective smelters, but you start getting too much closer and the bending of the belts doesn't work. Alright, let's do 3 constructors, and we should be able to do... Now, these we should be able to do close. Okay. And these are going to be screws, so 10 per minute to 40 per minute. Okay. You know, I just realized I am absolutely going to need some way of getting to the second floor from the middle of the room. And I know 1.1 is supposed to bring us elevators. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that. And to be honest, I was also hoping that these windows were going to provide more light. But I guess when it's nighttime out, I mean, what light are they going to produce? Yeah, and I'm going to absolutely have to move this up higher. So, probably here. And then I'll do this one. Let me go do this one so that it matches. They're small though. They're hard to... There we go. Okay, cool. Unfortunately, it doesn't... Oh, okay, I can fix that. I was getting ready to say it doesn't line up with the one below. But now it does. I'm sorry. I'm just... sometimes I do not realize how anal I actually am. By the way, these 2 windows I put in at the very end of the episode simply because I just wanted to have a little bit of natural light. I don't necessarily need it, but I just thought it would be nice. Alright, so this is all functioning. By the way, we still have not turned on this particular miner yet. I can at any time, because I've got the power port right there. At least I should be able to. Yeah, I've got available. So I've got enough room to do it. Alright, let's go back up here. Now, I still have 2, and I actually could move these over if I wanted to. 2 extra smelters that I don't necessarily know what I'm going to do with. Let me first of all fill this in. Alright, so this is going to be collecting screws. We need to do the same thing that we did down there. I'm just going to have to be a little bit more careful with it. Because really, if... You know what? Let me do this. Okay. So, I really can... The iron plates are right here. They're right underneath my feet. Okay, hold on. All right, that dimensional depot right there is for reinforced iron plates. I don't want to get rid of that. Okay, so we've got a port here. If I could figure out how to get screws, 120 per minute in screws, into this port to then split into 2 assemblers. I could put both assemblers right here, move the dimensional depot over here, and then that starts us off with production on this floor. I think that's what we need to focus on. Okay. So the question is where... Okay, so there's that port there. Okay, so then we can do the same thing. I wonder if they're going to even let me get up here. I was wondering if they would. Okay, so if we put a conveyor lift port, I got to give it space. So there maybe. And it's going to be input. Conveyor belt is too steep. Okay. Yeah, I think I can bring it closer. There we go. All right, perfect. Now we need to do the same thing for that hole there. However that works. I'm trying to figure out based on how to merge these 3 together. I mean, the easiest way is to put a merger right here. Okay, so that's that. Okay, I really need to... There we go. Okay, there it is there. You know what? Let me do this. Alright, if I were to put... I think I have an idea. industrial, like there. Oop, it needs to be Mark II, because it's 120 that are coming out. Okay. And then... Oh, crap. I put it too close to that one. Okay. It's not going to work that way. I'm going to need to do it from the other side. That way. Alright, so we then do the storage unit like this. Yeah, okay. I think I can do this. Perfect. There we go. And I'm going to already fill you up. There we go. Okay, now, let's go back up top. Before I turn all this on, I'd like to have everything as much in place as I possibly can. What's in here? Smart plates. That's reinforced plates. Okay, good. Yeah, because we're going to rework all of this. Again. And we still have to do rotors, by the way. We still have to do rotors. Okay, so these two... This has got 120 per minute in screws. We only need 60 per minute. I think that's right. Let me build a couple of... Let me build an assembler real quick. I'll probably end up moving it, but... Nope, 60 per minute in screws, so we'll need a splitter to split into two, and we need 30 per minute in iron plates, which this is going to produce 60. So that's great. Each one of these then is going to come into a splitter. I guess I'm going to do it this way. Oh, this needs to be a Mark II. Okay. Okay. I need another splitter here. All right, let's put these as close to the... other way. Okay. All right, so this one's going to have to be like this. All right, reinforced iron plates, and then like that, then go like that. Beautiful. Now we've got 2 different sets of iron. Before, I was never producing more than 1 set of reinforced iron plates. The smart plates at the moment, I actually have 0 interest in keeping production for, because I don't know that we're going to need them. I have not seen much in the way of need when it comes to smart plates. Now, the other thing is I'm going to want one of these to go into a dimensional depot, the other one to go into, or probably what I'll do is I'll merge them together and then split them into dimensional depot and storage. I think that's probably the best thing. All right, but I'm going to need to do this just to get the smart plates out of the way. Okay, I'm going to put them over here. Because something tells me I'm going to need them eventually. Alright, and let me craft a label sign. Smart. Okay. Nope. Let me grab the rest. Hold on a minute. There should absolutely be more. Oh. Are there more in my inventory? No? Okay, whatever. Alright, so what are these are producing... Oh god, 5 per minute. And... yeah, I want to get rid of you. I think what I'm going to do is just put 1 storage unit. I really, to be completely honest, should do 2 more assemblers. And I actually can, because of all those iron rods down on the first floor. We could take the iron rods from the first floor, run them up into 3 constructors to produce more screws, take the remaining 2 crap. What are they called? Smelters. Run them into constructors for an additional set of iron plates so that we don't have to take the ones that are being sent into the dimensional depot. And then that'll get us 2 more assemblers for reinforced iron plates. And the reason I say that is because reinforced iron plates then get used in modular frames. But then we're going to need more iron rods. They also get... the other thing we haven't even thought about is rotors. And the only reason I need rotors is more because of motors, which then are needed for turbo motors. But I also need reinforced iron plates to create modular frames, which obviously we need a lot of. However, I can create reinforced modular frames using steel pipes, or modular frames using steel pipes. In either case, we need to get this up and running, and then we can figure out the next... I think I'm going to absolutely have to create... Well, not necessarily. Because I still have the steel facility over here that I'm going to need to rework. And I've got more space now to do that. And I still have the iron. I have 2 iron veins that aren't being used over at the, I'm going to call it the computer facility, because that's really what all is being crafted over there, is computers, circuit boards, supercomputers, automated wiring, you know, all of the stuff that you would normally think of from a computer perspective. All right, that's still, I'm curious now where we're at. Yeah, there we go, 250. Oh, yeah, I didn't get rid of the reinforced iron plates. Okay, let me get this up and running for this, knowing that we still have more to do. Wow, this is not doing a thing. Interesting. Yeah, let me merge these into... See, the thing is I need the dimensional depot. That's not what I want. Alright, I may end up deciding against this at some point, but I'm going to do that there. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this one over here. And do this one here. I can put the screws downstairs. Or I can put them in here. Yeah, there we go. Let me grab the rest of these. Yeah, definitely have no shortage of reinforced iron plates. And to that end... What, it was reinforced iron plates and iron rods that create modular frames. I think that actually then is the next thing. We take the reinforced iron plates from here, combine it with the 2 smelters worth of iron rods that are downstairs, and create modular frames. Let me spin up another assembler here real quick so I can see modular frames. So 12 iron rods per minute. We produce 10 per minute out of a constructor. We're producing 5 per minute in reinforced iron plates. So yeah, we take the reinforced iron plates, and actually we could probably do this twice. We could probably set up 2 assemblers for modular frames. One of them would work at efficiency, the other one would work just under. Because we're only producing 5 per minute in reinforced iron plates, we would need 6 for 2 assemblers, and we're only producing 20 iron rods per minute. That being said, we could actually increase... Oh, I don't know why I didn't think about this. I could actually produce 15 per minute of iron rods. I'll have to think about that. Okay, but one problem at a time. Did I put... Yes, I did put all of that. Okay, let me actually take that 37 so that I have some in my inventory. Even though I have said to pull from inventory first. Okay, there we go. There's that. Yeah. I think we put two assemblers right here side by side and bring up from the floor iron rods from those 2 smelters that aren't being used. And then we'll figure out what to do with the remaining, because don't forget, we've still got iron rods down in a ginormous storage facility down on the first floor. Okay, let's turn all of this on. I need to put ports on the second floor. And then we will... I'm going to get rid of you. Okay. Perfect. All right, let's power... Start with you. Okay. Okay. All right, these are starting to get their ore. All right, I need... Okay, I'm going to do this a little bit different. I didn't want to do it quite this way, but... Why are these not working? That's one reason. All right, these two, oh, I think I missed... I don't understand why these aren't working. Oh. That's why. Well. No, I forgot to... I believe I did this. There we go. That's iron rods. Okay, so we're producing iron rods. Now I need to figure out how to produce... Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Okay, so... And that's not connected outside. Okay. Now we need to connect everything up for the assemblers to do their work. And I think the easiest thing for me to do here on that front is I think like that. And we will put in a... we'll just go ahead and do a Mark II. Okay. Beautiful. We now have reinforced iron plates working again. And next is we have to do modular frames next. We absolutely have to do modular frames next. Because they've become way too important. So let's real quickly, modular frames are iron rods and reinforced iron plates. Or reinforced iron plates and steel pipes. Either way, we still need reinforced iron plates. However, we could do all of that over at the steel facility. What about rotors? Because that's the other item that uses this set. So we could take the iron rods from down below. Combine, actually, this is what we'll do on this. Actually, you know what? This is what we'll do in this facility. We'll do modular frames over in the steel facility. Yeah. We'll do rotors here. Rotors are just as important because they're required for motors, and motors are required for turbo motors, and I guarantee you we're going to need them at some point. Guaranteed. Okay. Now that we've got all this turned on, last thing, let's wrap up the milestone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll turn you off. First milestone of Phase 5 is complete.
Milestone reached. The converter uses strange alien matter, abbreviated to SAM, to break down and transform materials at their most fundamental levels. I am sure even you can appreciate the power to manipulate atomic bonds. Most importantly, you are now able to locally create fixite, a highly adaptable synthetic metal, ideal for any kind of construction. It is everything we need to save the day, and perhaps its admirable qualities can inspire you.
Okay. Interesting. All right, let's start with production. So there's the converter. Harnesses reanimated SAM to enable precise matter and energy transmutation. So we're going to need another 50 radio control units just to create one. Another, what is that, 25 processing cooling processors or processing coolers or whatever they're called to create one, and 10 fused modular frames. And actually, to some degree, that's good to know. I just hope we're not going to need a bunch of converters like we do with assemblers and manufacturers. Is really what it comes down to. Like, if we only need to spin up 1 or 2, like we've done with the blenders so far, the one single for particle accelerator, that kind of a thing, it won't be a problem. Because what I'm concerned about is having to constantly have production for SAM. Okay, so that's that. Anything new in the special side? No. Nothing new in the logistics or Organization. Nothing new on transport. We have foundation stairs. Why do you... Why? I don't know why you would want stairs when you have ramps. Not only that, but they cost exactly the same. Okay, so that's really the only thing that we got other than fixite, whatever fix... Okay, so let's... Here it is. Fixite ingots. Okay, require reanimated SAM and iron. So the reanimated SAM I already have. We also have a couple of other options. Aluminum and Caterium. The problem right now, the only one I've found, the only vein that I found of whatever is used for, here it is, for actual SAM materials, strange alien matter materials, is in that tunnel where I've also got quartz. Now I think that if I remember, I might have 2 veins in there, and maybe we can take the Caterium from... Okay, so there's some options. There are some options for getting that produced in... Because the key for me is getting reanimated SAM. The reanimated SAM production I'm actually doing at the vein. So I'm taking the SAM matter, the strange alien matter, and running it directly into a constructor to create reanimated SAM. That's easy. But it's then to create the SAM fluctuators, which is what's being used for the buildings. And that requires copper wire and steel pipe. Up till now, I've just been... Oh, hold on a minute. Those I can probably continue to... Yeah, I can continue to manually craft. But if we're going to need the fix-it ingot... Okay, let's go back to the fix-it ingot. The fix-it ingot is used to create the fix-it trigon. And it's a 1-to-3, which also can be done inside of a constructor. And then that gets used, oh god, with an assembly director system and water to produce the biochemical sculptor, which is the second item in phase 5, and we need 1,000 of those. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have to start figuring out then how to set up automated production for reanimated SAM. So that we can craft, along with iron ingots, or Caterium ingots, by the way, the fix-it ingots, which then get used for fix-it trigons and so on. As I said, I think I have an idea of how to do this. Because if you'll remember, there's a Caterium vein that I have being used, and a truck is sending it back and forth over to the copper facility there. And I was doing that to craft AI limiters that were needed for something. I don't even remember what for now. How many? Let me see something real quickly. Okay, I can craft another 50. If I can go, I'm gonna go get. Okay, while we're talking, I'm gonna go get 50 more computers, and I can craft the 50 radio control units. Of course, I don't know that I need... Okay, hold on. Okay, so the fix-it trigon, it's used Yeah, see, here we go. The fixit trigons combined with water and the assembly director system, God help us all, to create the biochemical sculptor all happens in a blender. So I don't even have a reason to build that building yet. I do need to look at pressure conversion cubes. Oh, there we go. I need 2,000 radio control units and 1,000 fused modular frames. Yeah. Because I need to build up 1,000 pressure conversion cubes in order to create the 1,000 nuclear pastas. That's something else I have to think about too. I really wish I didn't have to use the particle accelerator though for any of that. I hate the particle accelerator because of its fluctuation in power requirements. Really, really hate that. Where are we? So we're running 22, 27 right now in usage. But our available power is between 47 and 5,000. So theoretically, if I could create 1,000 radio control units and 1,000 fused modular frames at the snap of my fingers, I could go ahead and start doing the 1,000 nuclear pasta and not worry about anything else. I think we all know that I can't really do that, however. Okay. I am going to wrap up the episode here. As always, I hope you've been enjoying the content. I'm still... my brain is not going to turn off, don't you worry. I don't know what I'm going to do with the remaining 2 smelters in there. I think we're going to do... I think I'm going to finish this facility by setting up rotors on the top floor. Using the iron rods that I've got on the first floor, combined with the 2 smelters to craft iron rods on the second floor. And then we'll take the iron rods from the first floor to craft screws, and then we'll combine those 2 things together for rotors. I think that's the right recipe. Yeah, iron rods and screws. Now, I don't know how many assemblers we're going to be able to put together to make that happen. And then we'll look at doing modular frames over here, as well as probably fused modular. Actually, you know what? It may make more sense. No. I think it may be time for us to go over to the larger facility where we've been building the computer facility, as I've been calling it. And start figuring out how to make that more efficient from the ground up, because we already have the plastic coming over, and therefore that's the requirement for computers, circuit boards, supercomputer. All of it needs plastic. And then we have the other side that's creating heavy modular frames combined with the limestone. So I think it's just a situation of maybe making that more efficient for the production of heavy modular frames that I can then send over to create fused modular frames at the nitrogen location. But yeah, we'll start with rotors first and then go from there. Oh, let's go figure out what the next... Let's go take a look at the next milestone. Alright, so quantum encoding is next, which gives us the AI expansion server, which is the 3rd item in Phase 5. It also gives us dark matter, excited photonic matter, the quantum encoder, the superposition oscillator, and the neural quantum I am never going to remember these names. I'm never going to remember these names. There's only the one new building, though, the quantum encoder. And again, the power usage is extremely high and unstable. Time crystal. We haven't unlocked this. I really need to do this. So that we can scan for hard drives. Power slugs. Yeah, see, this needs time crystals. Where did time crystals get unlocked? Alien power augmenter. Wonder what that does. It probably gives us power from alien matter, from like what we gather from killing aliens. I think I have. Yeah, I have one there. What was the other thing it needed? 50 computers and 100 reanimated SAM. Or SAM fluctuators, whatever they're called. That might be worth us doing at the next episode as well. Okay. In any case, as always, hope you've been enjoying the content. I could keep going off on tangents. And hopefully I'll see you in the next episode. As always, if you've been enjoying, hit that like, subscribe, or comment button. See you next time. Talk to you soon.